Aha!
Now see all of you.
Yay!
Well done, well done.
Good morning.
Good morning. Or good afternoon.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one working, am I? You're all in holiday, is that right?
Well,
Yeah. Very nice.
Supposed to be Jackie.
Yeah. I
haven't had email this week, which is very frustrating for me. I'm hoping that I can get it corrected today.
Ah, good.
So I don't know what went on between you guys since last Sunday, although Kathy and Liz and I talked on Wednesday night.
Okay, so you won't have got Liz's paper on mindfulness, on the Zen, and that sense of reflective practice. Okay.
I'm hoping I can access that today.
Right. Good. Because I've read that. I thought that was useful.
I just got that now, so I haven't read it yet, but I'm intrigued by the title.
Yeah. Well, do you want to catch up? I've just got one point to make on the paper. It was a distinction between reflection and being reflexive with an X. But I'll do that later if that's all right.
Yeah. So, Jack, did you get that framework that I sent out? What did you think of it?
Hang on. The framework.
Yeah, I sent it Wednesday morning.
Okay, hang on.
Or was it Tuesday? I think it was Wednesday morning I sent it.
You don't... Right. What I've got video. Haven't got anything marked. Would it be marked framework? Delong framework.
No, it was. She sent an edited version of the paper,
right?
And then at the same time, or around the same time, there was an email that included that framework.
Well, this is a nuisance.
I'm just looking for the title.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find the title.
Okay. Which paper? Was this for the paper with Liz and myself, Jackie, or for yours with Liz and Kathy?
That was the one with the Liz and you and I.
Right.
And let's see, I think I called it JD Response to Draft. I sent it first on Wednesday, and then I sent the other one second. Yes, it's called JD Response to Draft AERA 13/13/02/13.
So that'll be Wednesday. That will be the 13th. Okay.
Yeah.
13th. That's great. Yeah. I've got it. That's good. Yeah.
So I hadn't. Nobody had heard back from you whether you thought that would work or not.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, that looks clear. Okay. So how can we move that ahead then? What's the...
Well, if now, Kathy and Liz are both in agreement with that as a framework, so I can take what we've written so far and put it in that framework.
Yeah.
And then each of us, where it says Jack or it says Liz, then each of us can kind of add our own pieces into that.
Sounds good.
I did have some questions also from my last version of the paper. I did my kind of changes in bold.
Yeah.
So what did we think about it? I mean, do I adopt it all? Are there parts that you don't agree with? And I made some comment on the Sally Cartwright. I wasn't sure where that fit.
Okay. Yeah, I tell you what, let me just...
Can you put your computer camera down a bit? All I can see is the top of your head.
Yeah,
Okay, that's...
okay. Is that it? Good. Yeah, let me just, if I can recap, because sometimes I just need a bit of time to refocus. And where I got to in the last conversation was where I was just expressing some concern that the latest draft that I got out in response to that one of yours, Jackie, had got, if you like, almost too much analysis in. I was just raising this kind of gender issue about dialogue, because I seem to have taken out quite a lot of the dialogue that I think Liz actually found helpful in terms of the flow through the paper. So that was my recollection of where I got it to. Now, I'm very happy with that framework, Jackie, to see, what builds up from that framework. And I'll bear in mind my concern that I shouldn't be removing the dialogical form that actually helps us to share meanings and sustain those meanings. So that looks good to me.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, so let's make sure that we're on the same page then. You are recording, right, Jack?
Yes, I've got this.
Okay. So, with regard to the last version of the paper, the Jackie, Liz, Jack paper, where I've put the bolds in. I've inserted a part of Cathy's reflection on the nature of the culture of inquiry. I've inserted that back in, and you took that out.
Yeah.
And I made some comments in caps and bold. So, have people had a chance to respond to that, or do we need more time to do that?
Yeah, I just need a bit more time. I can do it over the next 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are we okay? Sorry.
Can you just resend that? Or you don't have any email. Can one of the other two just resend that to me just to make sure I've got the one you're talking about? Because I get...
Came on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I responded to it, Cathy. Did you get my response to it? Because that would include Jackie's initial... Okay. I'll resend it for you.
So if you wouldn't mind, that would be great with your comments, and then I start to get confused over versions, and I just want to make sure I'm on the right one. And I'm wondering if maybe I didn't get 2 attachments on that, because I definitely got your framework. But
there were 2 different emails.
Oh, okay.
Same time of day. One had the framework on it first, and then the second email had the response to Jack's last draft.
Yeah. Okay, and I remember that's right. Okay, I remember reading your comments, and okay. So I know which one, but Liz, if you don't mind resending it, and I'll make sure that I'm saving that appropriately. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Just until I'm sure I've got this email sorted out, can you also copy b.weir@hotmail.com?
Hang on.
That was included in the email I sent you guys about changing the dialogue time.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Will do.
Okay. I'm hoping to solve this today, but just in case I don't.
Yeah, no, that's good.
All right, so, Liz, you've done that section on mindfulness, and have you indicated where you think it fits in the paper, or is it for this paper?
Are we ready to go there yet, Jack?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was just struggling with trying to figure out how to get my voice in there in the places where you had indicated. And I remembered reading this article, and I went back to it, and it helped me to sort of organize my thoughts, because I think part of my struggle has been that, and I alluded to this in that response about the gender issues, and Jack, you picked up on it when I said, I'm concerned that we're falling, prey to the trap.
Yeah.
of trying to make this, trying to make something that isn't technically rational,
Yeah.
trying to come up with a solution where I think what's important about what we're doing, and everybody has indicated this, is the process. This learning process is what's really significant here. And just wondering how I, could contribute to capturing that process. So I just sent that paper out, Jackie, this morning, actually, and I'll send it again to Bill's address. And what I've done is I've just gone through and highlighted some of the things that resonated with me about what I think we could be doing with the paper. And then I just quickly made a list this morning, and I'll just read the list off to you. I can type it out later if you like. But I thought, okay, what's been sort of significant about this process? What have been for me the aha moments so first of all, Jack's concern with Tierney's opening address and the languages and inferences about what is education versus educational. I think that's it was a key point, and an entry point for me into this paper. And then Cathy's questions and concerns about the collaborative process and how to participate. And then I had there was all this stuff coming out, and I needed processing time. I needed reflection time and needed to, bring images into this process to make it meaningful or more meaningful for me. And then I really appreciated Cathy's stream of consciousness writing when she did her report cards, and I think there was something very significant about that. And all along our videos, all the videos, I think that in each one there is something really unique and significant. And then Jack's concerns about gender issues, I think that's really significant to this collaborative process that we've undergone. And then my response to that and my little presentation that I needed to do to sort of bring it all together for me. And then I thought it was really interesting, Jack's inclusion of Sally Cartwright's memorial poem. And when I read your comments, Jackie, about, I think that this is a bit of a stretch, the connection to the paper. I can't remember your exact words, but you were
I said, I am not seeing the connection.
I'm not seeing the connection, yeah. And I agreed with you when I initially read that. But then after I thought about it, I thought, well, actually, this is what this process is about. It's about bringing the everyday experiences into what we're doing to help make meaning. And that was obviously significant to Jack at the time. And so I just thought that was interesting. And then, Jackie, your framework, because we were going off in so many different directions, and I was feeling it. Cathy said she was feeling it. Maybe we're just not as experienced, or I'm not as experienced, but I needed to, sort of come back to the center and try and find out what it was we were doing. And so, for a while, that framework helped me. And then when I went back and tried to put my words and fit myself into that framework, I was feeling a little trapped again. I was feeling, and then I felt like I was contradicting what it was that we were trying to say and do to make the changes that we need to make to find a way out of traditional thinking. We're saying we want to embrace alternative ways of knowing and being, and yet we keep resorting to the technical and the rational. So that's just off the cuff kind of what I've been thinking.
That's good. That's
very good.
It is.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
That's what I hoped I would get when I did the framework, that I'd get some kind of, here's a way of kind of sticking this jello to the wall, see if it works, or if any part of it works. Yeah.
I'm really puzzled about this, because I've just been writing a response to a group of South Africans that, Jackie, you were present at their symposium at AERA last April.
Right.
And the 4 leaders have produced a paper about what they've learnt in the first year of what's called the Transformative Educational Studies Project. And it's all in the traditional logic and language of the Western Academy. Now, I've also got the videotape that Jackie took of the whole symposium. And 2 of the people there, one was called Wendy, another was called Daisy, and they were the PhD student and her supervisor, and they were both working in the same university. The communications that they were both giving went way beyond what could be communicated, I think, in relation to the logic and language of the paper, about what the leaders had learnt. So I've tried to develop what they were calling, and I like this idea, the 4 leaders brought in reflexive Ubuntu. Now,
reflexive what?
Ubuntu. Now, Ubuntu is a South African way of being that Nelson Mandela, he's on YouTube, a brief clip, saying what he means by Ubuntu, which is essentially, I am because we are. And you can't translate it properly into English, but it is a way of being that is inclusive to the other. And the African constitution, the South African constitution, has got Ubuntu in as part of its constitution. And now, okay so far, because Liz has stressed with the paper that she sent, reflective with a C, reflective practice. Now, I think at the moment we're all being reflective in the sense that we're thinking consciously and showing an awareness of what individually and altogether we're doing. Now, this idea of reflective with an X, so it's reflective, is where you're showing an awareness of underlying principles, if you like, which you can use to explain something. So you can be reflective in the sense of just describing something and showing an awareness. But it need not be reflexive in the sense of showing your, like you did, Liz, with your loving kindness, and you did, Cathy, within your dissertation, where you demonstrated an awareness of principle as an explanatory principle in your dissertation. So, now, I'm making sense here? Because there's a big distinction here between being reflective, which is in your paper, Liz, the one about meditation, and this idea of being reflexive, which I think we want to be in our paper to ARA, where we are explaining something. So I just want to bring that up, because even as I'm looking at the 3 of you, including my own picture, I'm conscious of this media of communication, showing some of our embodied expressions and ways of knowing. And I'll put this onto YouTube when we've finished, so that we can check out this, in terms of what we're expressing. But hopefully I'll make more sense if I can send round, and I get permission from the South Africans to send round what I've just been working on with these video clips of, in particular, Wendy, and that Jackie saw, and also Daisy, because I think we were both impressed, in particular with Daisy, and what she was saying. Are you okay with that? Because, as I say, it's something which is really important, I think, between this distinction that Sharon used reflective, being a reflective practitioner. You'll see in Liz's paper the emphasis is on reflective practice. And I think I'm suggesting that we're going to go further than that in relation to being reflexive. Are you okay that to be reflexive, you've got to be reflective, but you needn't be reflexive in being reflective?
Sorry, repeat that, Jack?
Okay, that to be
I just didn't hear it.
No, to be reflective with an X, you've got to be reflective with a C. Okay, but in being reflective with a C, you need not be reflexive in the sense of being aware of the underlying explanatory principles or assumptions which are actually grounding your explanation.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry that was a bit long-winded, but I just, just been working on that this morning.
It's just that you were going in and out a bit.
Oh, right. Oh, well, I think the recording will be okay.
It's a good thing,
Yeah.
So, Jack,
yeah,
and Cathy and Jackie, if we're okay with, and we need time to think about this, but if we're okay with this idea of being reflexive, I think this is what we've been getting at, Jack, without naming it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So if this is what we're thinking, and this is certainly what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we've got, hours of video of us doing this. Should this be the focus of this paper?
Well, I'm hoping to we should be able to bring it in, because I think the four of us are really concerned about trying to explain something, with matters of principle, and those are embodied in what we're doing. But I think it should come out of our paper.
Or is this part of the results part of the paper? I mean, is this the significant learning that's emerged from this process?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, the concluding marks. Yeah.
So while we're on that topic, I think this might have been generated directly from Liz's piece on mindfulness.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if we can take that piece, which I obviously haven't seen yet, on mindfulness, and put Jack's piece that he's just talked about today as the addendum to that, and see if that isn't really starting to pull this whole process together in our results.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd also...
Can you do that, Jack?
Say it again?
Can you do that?
Yes.
Can you
Yeah.
take what Liz has written about mindfulness and then write this next learning section on reflexive?
I can, but I think Liz has got to write this bit on mindfulness. At the moment,
the article she's attached is an article by another author, Jackie. So
okay.
I haven't seen anything
Liz,
yet.
We need you to write down what you've got about mindfulness, and then Jack can write his bit on reflexive learning.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, I suggested earlier that I would take the last draft that I sent Wednesday morning and put it into the framework. Is that something we want to do now or not?
I'm wondering if you can just hold off a little bit. Like I'm in the midst of trying to, I'm writing, and I got. At the moment, I'm kind of writing inside your framework and trying to just, get my ideas down, pull things together. And I am using your framework, but it might be that once Liz has started writing and I've got enough to send, that we might want to just take one more look at it before you start rearranging, because you don't want to waste your time if it doesn't quite fit. Like, I know there's overlap between the sections that I'm writing about, and based on what Liz comes up with, maybe, between all of us, it'll make more sense to slightly tweak it or, change.
I don't know whether my timing's off here, but I'm feeling that we have enough for this paper now.
I think so.
Doing this and we would never get done, and that's one of the things that I'm trying to do, is to say, okay, I think this paper, it's going to get too big if we don't say, all right, this is the point in time where we've kind of finished the thinking on this topic for this paper.
Yeah.
Am I right or not?
My concern is that, this is an ongoing and changing process all the time, right? But our purpose with sharing this at AERA is to sort of highlight some of the process, right? Is that? Yeah. Fair. To try and communicate some of the ideas in living educational theory of energy flowing values and empathetic resonance, and I think that sometimes that gets lost, as Jack has said many times, on the page, right?
Yeah. It is a paper. We have to do a paper.
Yeah. So, okay, and I'll write a little bit about that in my piece about mindfulness. Because that's what I think we need to challenge too. We need to challenge the structure of that. How long do we have to present this paper?
It's usually about 20 minutes. But we can have it on the web. I mean, the big thing is to have things on the web. You know, the actual presentation it's where we get together, and we have 20 minutes. But the big thing is what we then do with that. Do you have it on the web, talk about it, and communicate it more widely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the presentation is not the important part. It is that we have shared what we've learned. That's what's important. Yeah. And that our thinking has moved along, and we'll go on to do some more thinking and working and talking.
Yeah.
Right.
So this just changes the subject a bit. Could I just ask, and Cathy, I'm just not sure about whether on the 1st and 2nd of May, for example, that's immediately after ARA, you know, with the Action Research Network of the Americas, their inaugural conference, are the four of us going to be there or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, that because...
We already said we were.
Yeah, that's really fantastic because, you know, the deadline is the 1st of March. So it's just something that we could also build in, you know, as a proposal. The 500 words, I don't know if you've seen it. Do you want me to send you just the headings?
I think you've sent it already.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I've seen it, and I think it's good. I think there's one word missing, and I'll find it and send it to you. But
okay.
I think there's enough there to get us started.
Okay, that's great. Good. So, you know, we'll just bear that in mind, that deadline is the 1st of March. Yeah, that's great. Okay.
Now, the other thing, if I can keep us kind of on track here, there's a lot of randomness in us, you know.
Yeah.
The other paper, the end of the conversation on Wednesday, Cathy, you suggested that I do a similar framework for the paper of you and I and Liz. I haven't done it yet. Are you still of that mind or not, given today's dialogue?
I'm finding I'm working well within the framework you did. I mean, I feel what you're feeling, Liz, in that, you know, sometimes things I want to join two sections or whatever, but it forces me to write, and I'm writing, and that's good, right? So it's very useful, and even the fact that Liz has said, you know, I'm struggling against this structure, you know, it's making her think about what she wants to say and what she wants to write. So it is very useful.
Yeah. Well, it's not a framework that is permanent. Okay,
no.
It's only an idea of how things might sort. So I mean, we can make it sort any way we like. And I just thought it might help if we got the main themes down, that we would then organize it a little more easily.
Exactly. Yeah.
What are you smiling at, Jack?
No, to be honest, it was Liz's point, which I really liked, which is just what you've said there, which I have in mind, this notion of transition structures, you know, that we are all used to these structures being imposed. And the guy that meant a lot to me was called Cossack, and he said, look, just treat them as transition structures in a process of transformation. And this is what I liked about, you know, the Liz's response was, no, I'm going to play with this, and if I need to modify it, I would. You know, and it's like with you, Cathy, you know, that's exactly the kind of process that I like, you know, it really is. But we're all in danger sometimes of going along with these structures that are just being imposed. And I know I, you know, default back sometimes into that position. It's being aware of it. So I'm just smiling at that there.
It's the awareness that's important,
it is,
though, right?
It is. Which is your thing with the mindfulness.
Yeah.
Right.
I was going to ask about transcribing here. I just want to check nobody's done the one. I think it's around December 10th-ish, when I had a conversation with Jack, and Jack was talking about, you know, the political hierarchy and all that sort of thing. So I'm working on that section. Now I've got my structure, and now I need to go back and transcribe that and put some of that in.
Yeah.
If nobody's done that one?
No.
Lovely. That's great.
That's very good.
But I had a question about the section on the describing and explaining the current context of moral, social, political, and artistic poverty. And if anybody happens to pinpoint my angst through work to rule in a particular video, I know I've tried not to say too much on video. But if there is a particular section you come across while you're watching things that you think should be included, otherwise that section I think I'm just going to write.
Okay.
Rather than try and search through all of them, because I mean, I do specifically know I didn't want to say too much.
Yes.
And sometimes I turned off the video to talk about that. Yeah. So.
Okay, I think we'll find it important to come back to that, Cathy.
I think that will be the same thing. It will do the same thing, Cathy, if you write about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
And then it's not in public forum specifically what you said.
Yeah.
Okay, should I get this onto YouTube now?
Yep.
Okay, so next Sunday.
Yeah.
Is that good for
That's
everybody?
Good for me. It does. It's very good.
And I was going to say, Liz, the phone call I just got was my mom said it's supposed to freezing rain all night. Oh. So if you're not at school tomorrow, maybe we can Skype later in the day, because I know I'll be working today, and if it's a snow day tomorrow, so maybe we can just in case.
Yep. Yeah, sounds good.
Could you arrange for there to be freezing rain or snowfall on March the 1st? And then I wouldn't be able to get out?
Yes.
We had friends here who were stuck 5 days.
Yeah.
Well, our flight was just changed, and I'm wondering if would it carry on that long? No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it would, Jackie. Cathy, I read about 5 and 6 week delays. Okay. Because it's such a bump, right? Yeah. Such a domino.
God.
Anyway.
Yeah, so you might be delayed, Jackie.
Well, it never happens to me. If I get delayed somewhere, it's in Newark or Denver.
Yeah, I was going to say straight on to San Francisco for you, Jackie. Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Well, it's good to see you. Good.
Nice to see everybody.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
You too.
Yes, bye-bye.
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 Take care.
Yeah.